Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today we're going to pick up something quite interesting. A few days ago I saw a cheap Hyundai Terracan for sale on eBay for just £1,400. It looked immaculate. It was a 2004 and it had done just over 100,000 miles. So I made an offer of £1,250. Not really expecting to win it, to be honest. I thought it looked so good, he's going to want the asking price. It was a good colour combination as well. Now Terracans always have that two-tone paint job, and I always quite like that. It was always very reminiscent of a 90s boxy 4x4. They were always two-tone as well. You know, like the old Mitsubishi Shoguns and the old Land Cruisers. They were exactly the same. This particular one on eBay also had my favourite wheels, the 3-spokes. And it was automatic, and it had a full leather interior. So this was the perfect spec, really. They make great towing vehicles as well. I think you could probably tow a twin-axle caravan and not know you got anything hitched up at all. Anyway, like I say, I made an offer of £1,250 for this, not really expecting to win it. So I made the offer, submitted the bid, and then that was that. Then the next day, I didn't even think to check my eBay, to be honest, because I thought it had just been declined. But then I got a notification to say, pay now. So I thought, right, I must have won it. So I was quite chuffed, really. So I made contact with the buyer, and I went over to Bolton to go and collect it. I got this back to work yesterday, so it's now currently sitting on my car park. I parked it. So unusually for one of these videos, I have already seen it. What we're going to do now then is we're going to head straight there. I'll give you a tour and I'll talk you through my plans. Apologies for my voice, by the way. I thought I had what was just a standard cold, but after 2 or 3 days I think it's much worse. I could do with your thoughts and prayers, to be honest, because I think I've got man flu. It just won't shift. Anyway, that's why I sound like Macy Gray, so I shall see you there. Well, we're here and there she is. I told you it looked good, didn't I? It needs a little bit of paint work, nothing major. It just needs the bonnet scoop painting because it's gone all sort of, I don't know, it's had a reaction. I think obviously because that's probably plastic as opposed to metal. Maybe it's due to heat, I'm not sure, but I think that bonnet scoop just sort of unbolts. So I'll get that painted. There's a little bit of lacquer peel on the front bumper as well, so I might get that done. Just because it's so tidy, I think I'll just go to town with it really. But like I say, I think that's probably the best colour, although I might have preferred it even more if it was silver. But it's got the best wheels, certainly. It's got nice, chunky, knobbly tyres. One thing I'd like to remove, though, are those wind deflectors. I'm not a huge fan of those. And probably the roof bars. Don't think they look great either. But yeah, I'm quite pleased. It also wants a new set of reg plates, and it could do with having the headlamps buffed. But yeah, 1,250 quid, can you believe it? I'm quite pleased with that. Now, obviously, before I agreed to buy it, I did a vehicle history check using Car Vertical. And it's really important that you're doing these checks before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike. Let me show you how it works then. All you need to do is go to carvertical.com and type in the reg or the VIN. May as well turn off my engine then, because at 14 miles per gallon, every drop of fuel counts, really. So you type in the VIN or the reg. Now, in this case, we know the reg is Yankee Golf, so it's from Yorkshire originally, 04, which means it's 21 years old. You never know though, would you really? And then November Echo Foxtrot, and then check vehicle. And what this does now is it checks databases in over 35 different countries, so it isn't just a UK thing. It's going to tell us if it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has outstanding finance on it. In addition to that, it shows you the ownership, the reg plate changes, the MOT history, the spec, the average market value, and a whole lot of other information. So like I say, it's a really thorough check. It doesn't take long and it isn't expensive, and it's cheaper still if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK. All you need to do is type in HIGHPEAK, that's HIGHPEAK, and you'll save yourself 20% off every single check that you do. That isn't just a one-time thing, you can do that as many times as you like. There are so many dodgy cars out there, I'd hate for you to end up buying one, so make sure you're doing these checks first. I have already done one of these before I handed over the money for it, so I know it's all clear, but I'll just talk you through it. So the report's clear, so it's never had a mileage rollback, so the miles are genuine. I think it's done 102 or 103. Which is quite low, isn't it, for a 21-year-old car? There's no outstanding finance, there's no recorded accident damage, and it's had 4 owners. It's also never been stolen, so that's good. The average market price for such a vehicle, now I knew I'd got a bit of a bargain with this. The average market price is £3,415. So it's automatic, it's grey, it's a 2004 diesel. The last owner's had it for 2 years, but the first owner had it for 15 years, which is always quite a good sign. It means that there should be a stack of service history, really. That's all good. Now, this being Korean, a bit like Japanese cars, they do often rust. So we need to make sure that there are no advisory items here for rust, particularly like sills and, you know, general corrosion like that. No, we're all good, actually. Oh, here we go. Offside rear inner suspension component mounting. Corroded, significantly reducing structural strength on the wing. Okay. But that's been done. So that's good. So we've got an MOT until July, so that's good. Right, let me show you around it then. They're also quite rare cars now, the Terracan. You hardly ever see them. Whenever I go to Spain though, they're still quite popular there. They were very well priced when they were new, so lots of people bought them, but in the UK, where everyone's just a badge snob, they've sadly just been scrapped and they're all off the road. And when was the last time you saw a Hyundai Terracan? You just don't see them. Right, well, let's go and look around my Terracan then. So, the first bit of good news is we've got both keys. Now, they're very sort of, they look like a Toyota rip-off, don't they, really? Exactly like a Toyota key from that era. In fact, the whole car's a bit of a Land Cruiser rip-off, which isn't an insult, by the way. I think it's like a very good value Land Cruiser. In fact, you know, I did a video with one of these. I did a review, like a should you buy a Hyundai Terracan, about 5 years ago, because it was during COVID. And I bought it, it was quite a nice example, and I parked it in this very car park during one of the lockdowns that we had. And while it was parked here, somebody stole the catalytic converter off it. So when I went to move it finally, it sounded like a Harley Davidson. Anyway, there's a video on YouTube. Should you want to watch that? You might not recognise me though, because it was 5 years ago and I have lost 3 stone since then and shaved my beard off. Anyway, enough rabbiting. How tidy is this car? It's so straight. Like there are no dents, the panel gaps are all good. There's just no damage to it at all. Now, the wheels, these are my favourite because they're a 3-spoke wheel. Now, 90s Saabs and the 90s Range Rover Classic had similar 3-spoke wheels. Excuse me. I just think they look really cool. They don't always work 3-spoke wheels, but on this, Saabs and the Range Rover Classic, I think they do. In fact, my Range Rover Classic has got 3-spoke wheels just like this. So the tyres are all good. Somebody's covered this with Waxor, which is always a good sign. It's not completely rotted away, is it? I do quite like the two-tone business as well. I'm not a fan of the chrome door handle covers, so I might pop those off. And I might take off the wind deflectors because I don't really like those. Although saying that, they are genuine Hyundai ones. A couple of little like stone chips that we can touch in carefully. Once those are touched in, we've got a very tidy car here. So we've got matching tyres with loads of tread. A few little marks there, but nothing major. Like I say, I might paint that front bumper because we've got some lacquer peel. Excuse me. Oh, I don't feel well at all. Got some lacquer peel and some minor damage here, so I might paint this front bumper. And like I say, I need to paint this bonnet scoop because that's sort of faded. But I think once that's done, we're going to have one of the best examples in the UK, I think. Which is a bit of a bold statement, but I've been looking for one of these for months now. And they're all rough, to be honest. They're all as rough as I feel right now. Yeah, I'm going to take these off, I think. Maybe just do a few little jobs like paint this black trim here, like satin black or matte black. So we've got 4 matching tyres. The wheels are in decent condition. There's a little mark there, but we can touch that in. It's got a tow bar. I think we can get some black paint on this as well, this little trim. Replace the reg plates with some High Peak branded ones. But yeah, the lights aren't damaged, the reflectors aren't cracked. It's just a really clean example. We've even got the parcel shelf intact as well. Can you see why I was so excited about this now? It's just in really good condition. Now, one thing I do need to do is replace the key fob batteries because neither of them work. The little LED thing doesn't light up, so let's get some of those. But the remote locking works, and look how clean it is inside. You've got these nice padded leather seats, which again, apart from a little bit of crack in there, it hasn't ripped or anything. They're in really good condition. It's never been smoked in, it's quite clean, smells quite clean. There's no rust or rot anywhere. It's all very, very tidy. Got the cup holder here. These seats are nice and padded actually. They're very comfortable. And in the back as well, there's loads of headroom, loads of leg room. And you sit up quite high actually, so you've got a really good view. Of course, you've got big tall windows as well, so there's loads of light. They're a seriously underrated car, these. Now, back when they were new, like 2003, 4, I think they're about £20,000 new, so they were great value. I'm surprised they didn't sell more of them, to be honest. I think, you know, one failing of Hyundai UK, they should have sold this as a 7-seater. They only sold it as a 5-seat. In other territories, I believe in the Australian market, they sold it as a 7-seater. And I think that was a mistake. They should have done the same thing here, really. I think more people would have bought them had they offered 7 seats, because it's a great family car. I always quite like that as well. This is a really boring observation, by the way, but I always quite liked how the flared wheel arches sort of cut around the fuel door. Yeah, it's nice and clean though, isn't it? There's very little to do. We've got the book pack here. In addition to that, we've got stacks of service history. Now, I've got to be careful here not to reveal anyone's name or address, but we've even got the original accessory sort of brochure and the original sales brochure. That's got the same 3-spoke wheels. Yeah, so it's got a 2.8 tonne towing capacity, selectable 4-wheel drive, 32 miles per gallon, 148 brake horsepower. Let's have a look through the service book then. So, it has got so much history, this car. It's come from Nether Poppleton originally. Haxby. They often talk about Haxby on Downton Abbey, don't they? I'm just going off to Haxby. So it's got stacks of history. Now the cam belt's the biggie on this. When I quickly flicked through the history, there was a receipt from 2011, I think, to say it's had a cam belt, so we might need to do another one. But yeah, I mean, that's full history to 2019, then it changed owner. But then we've got even more service receipts and stuff on top. So there's stacks of receipts, which is just what you want to see, really. Now, bear in mind, I bought this blind. I just made an offer, not expecting to win it. So I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even inquire about the service history or anything like that, because I just thought at £12.50 it sounds too good to miss. And it just got better and better and better. I think they'll buff back. Screaming kid there, let's get away from that. Nobody wants to deal with that. Right, moving to the interior then. We've got 2 cup holders, centre cubby box. It's quite a good driving position, this, actually. So it's done 103,000 miles, 148. We have got 4 electric windows, electric mirrors. We've got a cherry magic tree. What more do you want for £12.50? Got 2 cigarette lighters. One of which doesn't fit, actually. Neither of them fit, that's weird. This, you know, back in 2004, must have been quite sort of cutting edge. The fact that it's got like digital climate control and stuff. Pretty sure cars like this, for, you know, £19,000, didn't come with stuff like that. And I think as well, I think that's probably the original stereo, is it? Although maybe not, because it's got USB. And it's called a Zomax. This is, no, take that back. This is like something you'd find in the middle aisle of an Aldi, isn't it? So, let's try this then. Well, it sounds all right. Bear in mind, I've driven this back from Bolton and it does drive particularly well. There's a bit of a wheel wobble actually at like 70, so I need to get the tyres balanced, or the wheels balanced, should I say? Yeah, that's about it though, really. We need to check on that cam belt situation. Something else I noticed with it, the fan works because you can hear it. You can hear the blower motor working, but nothing comes out of these vents. So I think we've got a blockage somewhere. If we flick switch the mode to this setting there, we should have some air, and we currently don't. Don't know what that is. Is it some sort of holder for something? I don't know. Not sure. In the photos, this fake wood actually looked quite offensive, but in real life, it's not too bad. It's all right. And of course, we've got switchable 4-wheel drive between high and low. Ordinarily, I think it's just in 2-wheel drive. I guess it's just rear-wheel drive, mostly. Got a warning there for a turbocharger. Do not race. I don't think anyone's going to race in their 148 horsepower Terracan. Do not race or suddenly accelerate the engine immediately after starting it. After high-speed driving or prolonged engine loading, the engine should be allowed to idle for approximately 1 minute before turning it off. Very sound advice. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this. So under the bonnet then, let's have a look at this old 2.9 litre diesel engine. Ah, got gas struts as well. Didn't expect to see that. Is there a sticker here to say it's had a cam belt? There's nothing obvious. I know it's had one in 2011, but of course that was 14 years ago, so as depressing as that sounds, it's going to need another one, I think. This was the old 2.9 litre diesel engine that they offered in the, what was that big MPV that they made called? Was it the Carnival? Can't think. It was called the Carnival in Europe. Definitely in Spain it was called the Carnival. But in England it wasn't. It was, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm waffling. Right, I think what we'll do then is take this for a drive, if you'd like to join me. Then I think we'll get it down to my mechanics, give it a full service, give it a clean MOT. I think we'll wax oil the underside of it just to prevent it rusting any further. We'll get a cam belt done, we'll sort the blow motor out, and we'll balance the wheels. And then, oh, there's my fuel door. Then we've got a very retailable car that I think should retail for 3.5 grand, maybe 4 grand. Oh, I need to do the paintwork as well. I think without sounding greedy, I could ask £4,000 for this when it's all done. I'm half tempted to just keep it, to be honest, because the chance of me finding another one as mint as that for this sort of price are slim to none, really. Right, let's get my very nice, very cheap Terracan out on the road, shall we? Sedona, Kia Carnival in Spain and Europe and other markets. Sedona in the UK, Kia Sedona. Anyway, the Kia... Nearly got impaled by my barrier then. It was the Kia Sedona in the UK, and it used the same 2.9 litre turbo diesel engine. It's a very grunty 4-cylinder engine, this. So yeah, 148 brake horsepower. I think it's 0 to 62 time with something like 13.7 seconds, so it was never quick. I remember having quite a large turning circle as well, this, something like 10.8 metres. Well, so far, so good. Now, bear in mind I've already driven this back from Bolton, so I know how it performed. And it did really well. Apart from the steering needing some attention because I think my tracking or alignment's out. It was pulling slightly to the left, my steering wheel was off centre, and like I say, at 65-70 there was a load of wobble like that, but that can be easily fixed. That's a quick remedy, that, really. I always thought on the Terracan as well, it was a bit weird that the brightness here for the gauge cluster was here in the centre rather than, you know, here or something. I know what you're thinking, Matt, that is a fascinating observation. No, it is what it is, really. It's quite a nice sort of no-nonsense car, and I quite like it already. Every single thing works as well. Does my windows work? This is just one of those cars that's got loads of life left in it. What I need to do really is get it looking its best and then try and find it a new home. May or may not be with me, I'm not sure yet. It's just nice and smooth. Oh, I sold that car. Nice to see it still on the road. Cars from this era though were like this. They had a big grunty 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine. Not much horsepower, but loads of torque. So they're just great, reliable towing cars. What I always thought was weird about the Terracan though was the lack of heated seats. You'd think for quite a luxurious 4-wheel drive with leather and, you know, fake wood and air conditioning and all that sort of stuff, you'd have thought there'd be heated front seats, but alas, that is not the case. We've got a couple of bulbs out here as well. Anyway, we can sort that. We've got an auto dimming rear view mirror, which must have been quite the option. Front fog lamps. I like this. I don't know if you can tell. I've got a question for you actually then. Do you think cars of this type, do you think there'd ever be a classic? I mean, I know this is rare, but I mean, it'll never be like an old Range Rover, will it? I don't think. It's probably more reliable, less to go wrong. But it won't be seen in the same sort of light, will it? In fact, keep banging on about how rare they are. I've just seen one there on someone's driveway. They had the wrong wheels though, so he obviously doesn't know what day it is, does he? He doesn't know his Terracans. But yeah, look at the steering, it is all over the place. That's me going in a straight line. Yeah, need to get that sorted then. Give it full service, do the cam belt, sort the heater motor situation, or the lack of air. Like I said, I can hear the blow motor working, it just isn't providing me with any air, so I'm guessing there's some sort of pipe loose or something, some dodgy connector. Maybe a blend motor actually. Does it work if I put it on the windscreen setting? No, there's nothing there at all. Yeah, we need to sort that out then. The ride's a bit choppy, a bit rough. Drives like an old Land Cruiser really, which makes sense. It's a very simple body on frame setup with a ladder chassis, so you kind of feel all the bumps. It doesn't handle like a Porsche Cayenne or a BMW X5, that's for sure, but you don't really expect it to. It sort of wanders all over the place on the road as well, but I think that's because of the tyres. Anything with a big sidewall like that, like my old Land Cruiser actually, will just wander. But that's what you want from a car like this. I mean, you don't want it wandering, but you want big chunky tyres, don't you? It's no good having a big four-wheel drive that's very capable with tyres on like a BMW X5. They're just useless off-road. It's all well and good having a car that'll tow your caravan, like a 3-litre diesel X5, but then when you take it onto your caravan park and you're on some grass, it's completely flummoxed. That's where something like the Terracan really comes into its own. It's no surprise really that this won the Caravan Club Car of the Year, I think in something like 2003, 2004. This and the Kia Sorento were great cars, and I'm surprised really that Hyundai didn't do a second generation of the Terracan. Kia are still making the Sorento, and the Sorento is a really good car, so I don't know why they didn't do the same thing over at Hyundai. Of course, it's the same company. Hyundai and Kia are twins. They could have really done some sort of modern interpretation of the Terracan, like a big boxy, like some sort of G-Wagon style thing. A bit like the new Santa Fe, like a bigger version of the new Santa Fe. That would have been quite cool. A bit like, actually, they could have made it look similar to the Kia EV9. You know, a very boxy four-wheel drive. Anyway, I'm rambling now, aren't I? The long and short of this, really, is I've had a bit of a result. Who'd have thought a late-night eBay purchase would have yielded such results? What we're going to do then is head down to my mechanics, drop this off, and let's begin the work. That house there, by the way, I know you can't really see this, but when I was a kid, I used to have a Ferrari Testarossa. Before I drop this off then, let's quickly talk figures. Now, I think for once I bought this at the right price. £1,250 is a bit of a steal. So I'll give myself quite a healthy budget today. I'm going to give myself a budget of £1,000. So hopefully for £2,250, I'm going to have a fully sorted car with a fresh cam belt, with a functioning blower motor, with some nice fresh paint on the front end, and some plates, of course. So 2,250, and I think then it'll be worth £4 all day long. So it should leave me with an enviable profit margin of about 1,750. It's not bad, is it then, really? Let's work towards that. Let's keep my budget nice and healthy. Horn works as well. Right, I'll see you in a few, I was going to say days, but it might be a couple of weeks. It's going to be at my mechanics probably 4 or 5 days, isn't it, having that work? And then probably down at Jimmy's, having the paint for probably another 4 or 5 days. Give me a couple of weeks then, and I should have a nice immaculate Terracan for you to look at. Right, I'll see you then. Wish me luck. Hopefully then I'll manage to shift this man flu or COVID or Ebola or whatever it is that I've got. Wish me luck. Right, well, I've got an update for you with my cheap Terracan. Wait until you see it. It looks better, but that's not the whole story. Now, after we last spoke, I took this to Jimmy the Magician, and as always, he's worked his magic. He's done a really good job with this. Now, if you remember, the bonnet scoop was all off colour and flaking, so that's been painted. The front bumper's been painted, the rear bumper's been painted, the headlamps have been buffed, the whole car's been polished, and although it's a bit dirty because it's been sitting around now for weeks, it does have a nice deep shine. I spent £480 with Jimmy on this, but it's £480 well spent. I think it looks really good. At that point, I was quite happy with it, but unfortunately, that's where the good news ends. When I picked it up from Jimmy's, I then took it down to my mechanics for a service and an MOT. And, well, there's quite a long list. So here's what they found wrong with it. The battery's insecure, that's not an issue. The spare tyre's flat, as a pancake, I'm told, that's not an issue. Various engine oil leaks, they can be cleaned off and monitored. I mean, it's a 21-year-old car, so you expect some engine oil leaks.
Rear brake disc worn, rear brake pads low, that's an easy fix. Front brakes binding, so we suspect both calipers are seized. There's also excess play in both front anti-roll bar debushes. That could explain the wobble on the wheel, couldn't it? Worryingly though, the most serious issue they found was regarding the fuel tank, specifically the fuel tank straps. So the fuel tank is held in essentially a metal cradle. Now the metal is very, very thin, dangerously thin. In fact, my mechanic said if I hit a pothole hard enough in this, the fuel tank could just drop off. So for obvious reasons, I haven't driven it far today. Ordinarily, you just call up the main dealer, wouldn't you, and order a new one? Well, with this, sadly, you can't. Parts for the old Terracan are really thin on the ground. Trying to find anything for this is really difficult. I've scoured eBay and forums, and luckily I've found new calipers and new debushes, but I just can't find a new fuel tank cage. So my mechanic said that they're going to fab something up. They're going to go to a local steel stockist, buy the steel, and then fabricate a new cradle for it. Basically, I don't know what I'm doing here, but basically a new cradle for it. Now this all sounds like an awful lot of work, and it isn't the sort of stuff they do on a daily basis, but they've assured me, because it's me and I'm a good customer, they will make every effort to sort it out for me. In terms of costs, I'm expecting to spend, well, too much basically. If we work out what it owes me already, I paid £12.50 for the car, then I paid £500 for paint, need some new reg plates and a valet, so there's another £100. Then we've got the bill at my mechanics, which is going to be the best part of £750. Where's Carol Vorderman when you need her? This car then will owe me about £2,500, which sounds like an awful lot for a 21-year-old truck, but it's in really good condition and I quite like it. So I'm thinking, even if it owes me £2,500, now you might think I'm deluded or delusional, but I'm thinking it's probably still worth maybe £3,250. That might be wishful thinking, but you've got to stay optimistic, haven't you? Plus I'm keeping something rare on the road for many more years to come, hopefully. It might not be desirable in the traditional sense, but somebody might find it desirable. Somebody? Anybody? So that, ladies and gents, is my Terracan that I bought for just £12.50 on eBay one night, stupidly, and then I'm about to spend another £12.50 on it. That's just how it goes sometimes. Let me know in the comments, do you think I've made a mistake? Do you think I've massively overspent? Or do you think it was worthwhile? So on that note, I'm off to the steel stockist now to pick up some flat bar. Right, well thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers guys.